I know this is a key thing that ShipHawk WMS can enable, shipping to big box retailers like Walmart, Home Depot, Academy, and many others have a lot of requirements and multiple systems in play like SBS Commerce. Jack, would you mind maybe walking us through how ShipHawk WMS works with these types of EDI orders?
Sure. This is probably my favorite feature about ShipHawk WMS. I've told you a lot about some features that I love, but this is actually my favorite one. So you guys, well, you can't raise your hand, but if you want to raise your hand, you can show me, who works with labels like this and has this type of scenario where you need SSCC labels, or also known as UCC 18s. So what we can see is we've got those labels. We have different products, different dimensions of boxes, and what we see in a lot of our customers' warehouses before ShipHawk is they had somebody doing data entry all day. They're in the SPS or True Commerce or Boomi portals, entering in how many containers they think an order is going to be, how many items are going to be them, what items go, all that. And that is really inefficient time. So what ShipHawk WMS does is we're actually going to give you guys a really simple and systematic SSCC labeling process. And I'm going to walk through that here. So we're actually integrated directly to SPS's retail label service. So what that means is in a lot of other, with a lot of our customers who are using like a bartender or pulling those labels directly out, like I said, they have to predefine those containers. What our system allows us to do is look at all the information in our system during the pick and pack process, and then we will reach out to SPS automatically and generate those labels and print them out immediately right then and there. So you can see here, we're able to print those labels, for packing as each carton is closed, or during our shipping and pack edit process. We're able to mass generate those containers, so that way for really large orders. So if you have a 10 pallet order with 100 cartons per pallet going into something like a Walmart or a Target, you probably spend a lot of time in those portals doing all that data entry. But with us, it's literally 2 button clicks. I'm going to show you that here in a few minutes. And then on top of that, all of that information is going to be pushed back to that EDI provider tab. And I said NetSuite just because I have an example picture here of that NetSuite setup. So we can see that package with the carton index, the tracking number, depending on how it was shipped, that label ID, and all the dimensions. And then one thing that we always hear is, well, what about that 856? Or what about that actual ASN detail? We will automatically create that ASN detail inside of the ERP as well. So that way, that CSV file that needs to be consumed by your EDI provider is sitting there and ready whenever you're ready to invoice that order. So let's jump in and actually take a look here. So what I've actually got is one of our packing processes that we call Pack Edit. Pack Edit was really built for customers that have a larger order set. So high number of cartons, high number of pallets, and they need to sort of move items around, configure them to make sure that they're compliant with their EDI customer. So what we can see right here is that we've got an order. Right? We've got a container, so I've got this SSCC number. Our system can automatically generate those IDs for you. But what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to split some of these containers out. Maybe I picked this all onto a mass pallet just for ease, but now I actually need to split them up into their individual cartons. That's where this process is really amazing. So I could take this line, which has this item. It's got 5 of these, and I'm actually going to move 4 units into new cartons of 1 each. Maybe they're just a little bit too big to fit into a carton, so I need to overpack them into something else. I can always edit that split here, and then we can see now that item is split across. And you guys hopefully saw that speed. That's something I spoke about earlier. Our system is highly, highly responsive. We always want the operator, we never want the operator to be waiting on the handheld. We want the handheld to be so fast that as soon as a user scans something, they could scan the next thing. So what we can see right here is obviously our new 5 SSCC containers. And with, like I said, those 2 button clicks, I could assign my SSCC IDs. You're going to see them refresh on my screen. And then with another click, I could print those SSCC labels. And by hitting that, and in my environment here, because I'm not connected to a printer, they actually print to my screen behind the scenes. But here's just an example of what that looks like. I would have gotten my 13 SSCC labels, if that's how many cartons I had, right then and there. So I hope you guys can see that that really eliminates a lot of that manual data entry behind the scenes. And you can see here, retrieve those SSCC labels from the printer for this item fulfillment, and we'll go back to it. And then one thing I actually didn't touch on, and I always hear frequently, is, well, I sometimes need to palletize my orders, right? Well, that's actually one additional button click. So we can actually palletize this, and we can see everything is assigned to a pallet. And we could go through the process of pallet building. That's a great process supported in ShipHawk, where you can scan a pallet ID and assign containers to it. But really for this, I want to show off just how simple, how automated it is when working with an EDI provider. So last thing I want to say on this piece is just X of Y, so important in the SSCC world. And I want to highlight that, hey, we have that box one of 13. So that way you never have to worry about going back, filling those in. So hopefully you guys can see that with a couple of few button clicks, we're generating your SSCC numbers. We're printing out your labels and then pushing all of those details back to your ERP with really minimal effort from anybody on the floor.